I hate when people are like, urgent. You gotta watch this now. Time sensitive. All of that stuff. Like almost zero is urgent. Almost zero is time sensitive because we're investors, right?
If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to DCENT Wallet. It's just a few taps. You can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your DCENT Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.
So we're in for the long haul. Like realistically, do we think XRP can be 10K tomorrow? Probably not, right? But we're in this because we know in the long haul, XRP will be 10K.
Yeah, I feel as though there is moments where that could happen. You
Right.
know? Obviously, guys, here's the way to look at it. Okay, what would be an example of what could happen? Literally overnight. Now, hear me out. Let's talk about this for a second.
Let's do it, bro.
Okay. Well, March 10th got delayed, all right, for the ISO 222 mandate for the U.S. All right, it's supposed to be in July. Some people feel as though it's just going to keep getting drug out. I don't think so. Because now, especially with this timeline of what you've seen, whether it's, Elon Musk supposedly auditing maybe Fort Knox or, some of these other things, right? Like, it's kind of like the ducks are in a row, right? So now you see Trump literally today come out with an announcement, and we have another thing. We're going to do it in a proper format, computer and all that stuff, deep dive for you. But this is a little bit different, conversational piece. But my point is, it's like, yeah, you see Trump, literally mentioning XRP, Cardano. People could say XRP's Dino coin, Cardano, somewhat of a Dino coin, right? Not as old as Ethereum, but you do have your dinos. So you got BTC, you have Ethereum, clearly that's some of the slower stuff, but it's the established players for what was proven. We can argue all day long about, there's faster tech, and there is faster tech. I cover things like BSV. In my opinion, that takes the cake when it comes to the king of, if you want to be technical, of the fastest tech, Terranode, right? You don't need to go, do you have the Bank for International Settlements connection for you can scale up with M10 with 1 million plus TPS? No, they already have that. Okay, that's the best tech. But do they have that whole thing of, it's not about what you know, it's who you know, right?
Right, exactly.
And that's not FUD. I love BSV, I love the community and so on, but and I really do believe in that long term. Where I'm going with this is basically this. The key events. People say this is buy the rumor, sell the news. These dates will come and nothing will happen. True, but the difference is it could happen. Why be on the sidelines? You've seen this yourself. So if you're, now I'm going to get into it. Really? You're going to get into a high price XRP or some of these other ones? Why not just accumulate when you still have a chance to accumulate, right? At these lower prices. That's always been my policy. So I do believe there could be like a 10,000 overnight. Will's mentioned, $25,000 overnight. That is a possibility. A lot of people say no possibility. Are you sure about that? Because even with Shiba Inu, if it wasn't for Shiba Inu, I wouldn't be here right now. Just getting onto Coinbase, that price went like crazy. I did 11x, turned 8K into 88K. What's something like a meme token? If they could do it, well, what about your XRPs and so on, especially with that regulatory clarity? That's the key. Again, I'm betting on it. It's kind of like a lotto ticket, but I don't want to be on the sidelines.
Well, see, we talked about this last time in my last episode, XCN and XRP connections.
You mean XPR?
XPR, excuse me. Thank you.
Proton. Yeah, no problem.
Somebody was like, well, if it has all these good things, why doesn't it have more volume?
It's not utility in motion.
It'll have volume until it doesn't. Look at what happened with Stronghold. It didn't have any volume, and then all of a sudden, it did. LCX had no volume until it did. XCN had no volume until it did.
Right.
So like
A very low market cap. So
exactly.
yeah, that's why I'm not missing the boat on ZBEC. Right? I'll tell myself. I told you earlier. I will give Rue his flowers on this. I credit Rue as far as officially getting me into ZBEC. He didn't say, "Hey Max." No, I was just like, Rue's been right about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And also should give a shout out to Crypto Future 99, Rob. And I'm like, yeah, I did miss the boat on XCN. Again, there's some things that you guys missed the boat on that I'm in that you're not in. It is what it is. But we can talk about this all day, right? This is not a you-know-what measuring contest. The key thing is this, okay? Whether it's like what you're talking about, XBR in your community, or if it's XRP. My thing is, for all the people that claim that they believe in these projects, you know how many people are not really truly living by what they say? Tokenizer mentioned this in one of his his many X posts.
Yeah.
And that is being into these projects but not following suit of when it gets to mass adoption. So many people are so impatient. They want the overnight sensation. They want to get rich quick. I don't go about it that way. For me personally, I go about it like they are long-term investments and so on. And I understand that for a lot of people, like, well, I got into crypto because I am fed up with my 401k. I'm fed up with the whole idea of, I was told by my folks years ago, as soon as I got out of high school, go work at some job until I'm 65 and then have Social Security and a pension, 401k and all that, and I'll be okay. No, crypto's a different thing. It's a whole other, it's a unicorn, and I want that money like within a year or two, in my good years. But you don't realize, you still state on one hand that you believe in the project, all right? Then why not believe in the project for when regulations are passed, then the real utility gets put into motion. Here's something I mentioned to Will a while back. I said to him, all these impatient people, they're complaining. I get DMs from them. I won't tell on some of you guys because I respect you, right? I'll protect your privacy on that. But there's a few of you guys that sent me some DMs a while back about, there's this meme coin, there's that meme coin. I really love XRP and Quant and ISOs, but I just see these things blasting off, and these ISOs aren't really doing much. Now, again, this was before the whole thing of, a new president and so on. Again, we're not trying to ruffle feathers, okay? Again, he is the president, Trump. But the way I look at it is, before all that, there was just a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. All right, I know I'm talking a lot, but hear me out. My thing is, again, back to the utility being put into motion. So you already built the house. You already laid the rails, XRP. You already, built all the bridges, Swift coin, stuff like that, right? Like you have bridgers. Literally, it's called bridgers. Quant, the gateways, right?
XLR.
Exactly. So my point is, everything has use case, but you don't see, people are like, well, there's a decent amount of volume, but it's not doing much. Here's the thing. Retail liquidity. Let's talk about that for a second. I feel like sometimes I'm dominating the conversation. That's not our intent. We'll get better about this. But my thing is, and I mentioned this to Will, what do you see represented really on chain? It's still the dominant force of retail money. People say, well, there's institutions investing into it. Correct. But as far as the utility finally being used, are you trying to tell me that trillions of dollars has been funneled into Ripple XRP yet? No. Why isn't it happening now? They have all these partnerships. Why is the price not $10? You guys are crazy talking about $10,000 XRP. Again, think about it. You have to pass regulatory clarity. After these things happen, then that in itself, as we mentioned, is the standard moving forward. Money will flow like it's never flowed before. That's my theory, and I think I'm right about that because what? You were de-incentivized before, Rue, with the MT messaging standard of not Swift blockchain people. We're talking about traditional Swift and cross-border payment, 10 trillion from one country to the other one, and they get hit with $60 billion worth of fees off that $10 $10 trillion transaction. It de-incentivizes countries to do those types of loans. Now the game changer is things like XRP. Now you have more money flow in the entire history of mankind that nobody has ever seen, ever.
Yeah.
Then my thing is derivatives market, taking on all that debt, maybe the debt market, tokenization of debt, all this stuff that Larry Fink talked about. I'm not a fan of Larry Fink, but my point is, like, people are stating, oh, we can't get to a market cap like that. Price don't move much. Price would move like it's never moved in the history of mankind, because now you do have banks that be like, gosh, we could finally move money all the time in motion, 24/7, 365, unlike the stock market. It doesn't take a break on the weekends and all that. It's 24/7, 365, and it's within 3 to 5 seconds with finality. And one last thing, because I feel like I'm dominating this, and I apologize.
No, it's all good.
Ripple's investors have pointed out this in the past. You have to use fiat to invest in a system that's better than the system that you're waiting for settlement.
So I took a lot of mental notes about what you were saying there. Retail money, XRP, right? So even with all the retail money in, XRP is like the 4th highest total value locked crypto, right?
Right.
So people look and they focus on the meme coins, but like I've seen this play before. I don't know if you were in the stock market when the whole Rona thing happened.
No. Well, okay. Yes, I forgot. I do have stocks. Obviously, I'm not too thrilled about them because I forgot about them.
But that's
Right.
okay. So back when
I have
the
like
Rona,
AMC and so on. Just
no,
let
it's
you know.
all good. So when the Rona thing happened, they came out. All the like leading players came out with these things called SPACs, right? Special acquisition interest companies or something like that. So SPACs were basically like kind of synonymous with meme coins right now. So everybody was focused on the SPACs, focus on the SPACs, focus on the SPACs. Oh, these are the brand new things. They're going to revolutionize this, revolutionize that. They're this, that, and the other thing. Meanwhile, all the great companies like oil companies, airline companies, all these companies that had to be used that were down bad because of Corona. Like, nobody were really focused on those but the big guys, right?
Right.
And the smart money was coming in, kind of slowly soaking up the oil companies, the airlines.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah.
Dave and Buster's, all this stuff that once things were going to be back online, they were going to be fine, right? Now, flash forward 5 years later, people are back out and, are they back to fully how they were used to be? No. But all those special acquisition companies that people thought, oh man, green energy, oh man, electric vehicles, oh man, space tech, and this is going to carry things in space and do this in space. Almost all those SPACs are like terrible now. Like they're worth like dollars, maybe that, and a lot of them went
Kind of like
through.
most meme tokens.
Exactly.
Except for your established player meme tokens, like
Exactly.
your Cokes, your Dogecoins, your Pepsis, your Shiba Inus, your Pepes, your Dr. Peppers. I mean, it's just an analogy.
And that's perfect analogy, because if you look at all the SPACs, other than like maybe DraftKings, like there may be 1 or 2 SPACs that really, really made it. The rest of them trash.
Right.
Especially the space ones. Complete trash. Complete trash. So we've kind of seen this play before. So all the focus for retail has been meme. You might have the impression, oh, this is what I should be looking at. But again, when we look at what's going to happen long term, and as far as holding onto these long term and possibly having staking rewards, tantamount to dividends, if you're familiar with the stock world, long term having dividends or staking in HBAR, dividends and staking in eventually XRP, which
Or
I
even
do
Quant.
think,
Gilbert Verdi mentioned that.
and Quant, right? Long term in these things, these are the things that are going to be winning out long term as investments. But retail is going to be focused on meme coins. Like I told people, check the receipts, guys. I told people when different people like this guy named Murad was talking about meme coin super cycles, meme coin super cycles. I'm like, what about utility coins? What about a utility super cycle? And I swear to goodness, like a week later, that's when everything took off. HBAR went from like 4 cents to 40 cents. LCX went from like 8 cents to like 40 cents.
But in reality, it's because of I call this the hints of what's to come, like mentions of mandates, mentions of even with what we study, like like the regulated liability network and so on. It's like those pilots happened. Here's the result. And now they're going to go with this, or Christine Lagarde, right? For example, I'm sure you're very familiar with her.
Yep.
It's like, okay, clearly Europe is going to go with these ISO related compliant coins and tokens, your Hedera, HBARs, and so on. Stellar is definitely going to stand out in that regard, in with some of these things, especially with their Circle connection. Like, again, a lot of people who are new to this space. Are you aware that Circle was formerly known as Stellar USDC? So my thing is moving forward that I still feel as though that the large amount of retail investor money is still like your BTCs, is still like your, on your meme tokens and whatnot. But when we see a little hint of like, oh wow, now the utility ones are taking off. Again, it's because of what? The catalyst is somebody like President Trump, with what he mentioned today, of the whole thing of, U.S., was it strategic reserve?
Yep.
And then he picks ADA, which I've been holding ADA since like 2022, I think it was, right? Or late 2021. So you have your ADA. Shout out to you, brother. I think you mentioned you got into ADA back... was it 1 cent, 2 cent?
1 or 2 cents, yeah. You guys that
Wow.
remember my Benzinga show, you'll remember Ada
Well,
and Polygon.
Wow. Anyway, me, it was I'm not perfect, guys, right? So I remember at the time, it's like I put 300 into Doge, came in at a penny, turned that into about roughly 23K, and it was my friend at the time, a gamer friend, and then he's like, I'm thinking like, man, this guy's mentioned Shiba Inu and something. So I did well with that last bull market, 2021. Then he mentions, you got to get into ADA. Wrong time to get into ADA at the top. It's just going to keep going up. Again, I didn't know, early 20 or, mid to late 2021 going into the cycle about just that. Cycles at the time. It's still very, very new, learning and so on. We're there's people way before me and so on. But yeah, I came into ADA, not exactly all-time highs, but it was really high up there. So I'm still in the hole on that. But again, it's just these catalysts. My point I'm trying to make, Rue, is the catalyst moving forward. Trump mentioning what he mentioned. That's a catalyst. It is kind of the buy the rumors. It creates supply and demand. But again, when we talk about all this stuff, it's not really fully utilized. It really isn't.
Well, this also leads me to something that people thought, like, it always seems to me to be inverse of what the leading thought is. Like, we thought that crypto regulation would kill crypto. But now that Trump's in office, it seems like regulation is actually benefiting cryptocurrency.
Right.
Like, look at XRP and what happened. He came in, met with XRP, like saying that he's going to get rid of Gensler. Gensler offered his resignation. All of this regulation has actually helped XRP.
Right.
It's cleared up its case. And I think when we look at different cryptos in the gaming sector, eventually things like Scale, which I talked about, regulation is going to help the gaming cryptos. It's going to
You're
help.
absolutely right. It is. Okay. Well, I guess we'll shift. Let's talk about Hedera for a bit.
Yeah.
I mentioned this with Will. When we, do our game, I'm going to make a couple games. Not now.
Okay.
But my crypto end game. So Will is part of that when it comes to
Nice.
something in regards to, I won't mention it specifically what it is, but it's a first person shooter. and we're trying to buy the rights of this particular one. Okay.
Okay.
And it's a remaster. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it just makes, for one, like not having to recreate the wheel, but make it better, give all the bells and whistles. My point is, moving forward, what's one of the biggest problems when it comes to first-person shooter video games? Call of Duty, Battlefield, Counter-Strike. Okay, what it is?
Wait, you want to mention this?
I do want to mention this,
Okay.
and that is hackers.
Okay. Gotcha.
Cheating and so on. Dr. Lehman Barrett is also a fan of gaming, and he has mentioned that in the future, especially with Hedera, Hashgraph, right, the Gossip Protocol, right, their consensus, not consensus, you know, sorry about Mike Tyson, not my consensus algorithm, right, all right. Gotta have a little fun. But with consensus,
Yeah.
that basically, it's like this. That is not a blockchain. That's DLT. It's a unique DLT. And basically, it's like this. Well, we want on a public ledger to verify who's the bad players. If we're going to verify who's the bad players on some of the things that have been uncovered, like this guy is 150 years old claiming Social Security, or these people are dead. You know, where's all this money going to?
Or vampires.
Yeah, whatever the case be, right? It's like even in the world, like that's the biggest problem for Activision. Well, we talk about institutional players. Let's talk about our institutional gaming players. Activision is, what are they worth? Like $6 billion or something like that? They're basically worth what Disney acquired the rights of Star Wars for. Like, I don't even know if people really realize it. So that in itself, just Activision or Electronic Arts, all the big players, DICE and so on, they want, moving forward, can you imagine if Dr. Lehman Barrett or, Mance Harmon or whatever, say, hey, guess what? We can provide you a solution now that we have regulatory clarity that you won't be losing your base. How many people do you lose from that base of players you have every day? Because they're so sick and tired of some kid in some basement somewhere and, stuffed away, came down from his mother's attic and stuffed down in the basement, and he's just doing a 360 no-scope headshot from across the map, getting 100 kills and 1 death, and everyone's like, forget this game. I hate Call of Duty. I hate Battlefield. And they'd be like, how many people do you lose annually because of the hackers? We lose anywhere, I'm just throwing this out, 20-30% of our base. How would you like it to not be the case anymore? Now, here's where I'm going with that. Dr. Lehman Barrett and Hedera have claimed about the DREC Alliance. What's the DREC Alliance's mission? To be quantum resistant. You're trying to tell me you can't be resistant against, you're a coder. You do that for a living.
Yeah.
Script kiddies. They're not real hackers. They're script kiddies, right? You can't be resistant to that?
Yeah.
You better bet your sweet tutu you can. So my point is that creates that much more demand for even Hedera moving forward. And then that utility that nobody really talks about, let's be honest, not a lot of people are talking about that. That's a real thing. That's a solution. There's so many things when it comes to blockchain and so on. But what will you have? The stereotypical guy, I hate to say it, come in the comments. All that talk is great. I invested in dog crap Inu the other day, went up 2,000%. Your darn Hedera only went up 30%. True. But for the long term, that's where it's at. Short term, yeah, you can make some money on those pump and dumps.
But look at different coins like how we mentioned here with the XEN and XBR connections. XBR has a deal with Rarible, right? Then now you can track royalty rewards on that platform.
I'll take your word on it. I'm listening this time.
No,
by the way, takeaway, because I don't cover XPR, but it is requested, and this might be the moment. So I got in the ZBEC because of you, brother. And I get a lot of requests about XPR. So by all means, I want to hear about this.
Oh yeah, so they have a partnership with Rarible where they can do on-chain real-world assets. So now imagine you're doing something like Call of Duty and your assets, you can swap those, you can trade those. Scale. Remember we had I had Andrew Saunders on, and he like literally basically out of his mouth, he's their chief marketing officer. He's like, what if laws were able to change and then crypto regulation was here and the company like Activision, so funny you mentioned them, Activision or Epic Games just all of a sudden had clarity and they were just able to pump a lot of money in because they know, hey, now it's regulated, now we can pump in money. So what I'm saying basically, guys, is the framework is already there. Companies like Scale are already building it with Epic Games.
Yeah, you want to know something? I got to mention this real quick.
Go ahead.
You guys, I want you to think about this because I get it. A lot of you guys aren't gamers, but there's a few who are. Now, here's the kicker. Will Fix and I, years ago, back in Medal of Honor Allied Assault, we would make custom skins, all right? So back in those days, it's like, you know, there was the believe it or not, I wish I still had it saved. I don't. It would have been beautiful if we had proper cloud technology 23 years ago, right? So I made the DPG Maximus skin, okay? Where I'm going with this is this. If there's a want and need for NFTs, there'll be a want and need for what? Skins. And what's one of the main problems when it comes to the mainstream FPS games, first-person shooters? One of the main problems is you're not embracing your community enough. You're taking away the mod tools. Now they can't do what you were built on. And what I mean by that is Call of Duty. That was built on mod tools. Great modding communities. Electronic Arts. They came out with Battlefield 2. Battlefield 2 is a representation of the Desert Combat mod. If you look at the maps, everything, it's like this is a clone. The point is, where I'm getting with this is, it would incentivize, again, we were using this example before, incentivize people to not only create those skins, but to tokenize those skins. If you're doing an NFT, why wouldn't you do it with a character skin? Let's bring back the DPG 5-star General Maximus skin once again. Anyway.
See, what you guys don't know about Max is he's a gamer and he has his own gaming company. So this guy has a lot of gaming skills here. Back to these guys, XPR and Scale. Scale has already teamed with Epic Games, and they have games on Epic Games right now. So again, the framework is already there, right? So you take something like what Max is saying, you got those skins, and you have...
That's just one example. I mean, you could do so many things, but I'm just looking from the NFT side. You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then you already have built-in communities. So now you have those built-in communities, like, what do they say with the meme coins? Oh, these can be built-in religions or whatever. You already have a built-in community. Now make the skins worth something.
And they wouldn't be worthless skins. You know, that's one of the main arguments of, you know, like, I think NPR covered it, you know, a lot of people covered it. Like, 95% of all NFTs are worthless, right? Well, say what you want. If you have the kid buying, you know, $1 transaction, micro transaction, right? We always talk about micro payments, micro transaction to buy, you know, a skin for Apex Legends or whatever game it is, right? Well then, okay, what if it's more than that? Let's $5, $20, whatever the case be. That's a pack of NFTs or a pack of skins. That's still tokenized representations of what you want. That would have more weight than just, let's just be honest, a stupid JPEG. That's where I'm going with that. And then I will give another honorable mention to Quant. As we speak, if you look at the Quant over Ledger integration with either, I think it's on Make and also Zapier. I don't know if it's on Pipe Dream. It might be on that too. But at least on two of those three, Steam integration. So then you do have what? Smart contract for somebody on Steam. So that guy on Steam moving forward, he gets that clarity. He's like, I could be independent skin distributor, you know, moving forward. There's so many possibilities. We could talk to her blue in the face, but...
And you guys know I've also done some research on the cryptocurrency called Seek. And they have their own metaverse. They have different like stars like will.i.am and, you know, all these different people connected to them, Dwayne Wade, like tons of different stars. So Meta is not putting all his money into metaverse for no reason, right?
Yeah.
Billions and billions of money into that. So now it connects right in. All they have to do is have the regulation, and they can literally flip of a switch, turn it on. Turn it on to Epic Games, turn it on to something like Meta. And remember, Zbeck has connections to Meta via Bayer, who I forget his first name, but Bayer Capital has connections to Meta. So they're deep in with Zbeck and payments. So now imagine payments. We already know that Zbeck is connected to Ondo Finance,
Right.
with real world assets there. Now imagine Meta coming over with this metaverse and connecting that up to Zbeck. Now you have those real world assets, those skins, or anything else in the metaverse being a form of payment.
Right, and ones with real value, not just a JPEG.
Boom!
Yeah.
Like that. And believe me, that solves a lot of problems now too, because think about all the people that are getting laid off right now from federal jobs. Maybe now jobs come in the metaverse. And now these loyalty rewards they're really worth something. Like really, really worth something.
Right.
Like not just worth something to a gamer. Like that's almost tantamount to gold or silver or cryptocurrency or whatever, right? This is an actual factual resource that you can sell for a cryptocurrency fiat.
Hey, do us a solid if you listen to the entire outline and type this into the comments, and that is bridged interoperability. And we'll know that you listen to the entire outline. On behalf of myself and Rue,
Bam.
we'll see you on the next one. Over and out.
Peace.